Galactus is a good villain unless you don't tell us anything about him. How do you do a Galactus story and don't fill in any of the blanks? They didn't fill in any of the... They're just like, oh, he's this guy in space. They gave us more details on who the Silver Surfer was than Galactus. They just were like, hey, he's a big robot. He's gonna eat the planet. Don't worry about his motivation. It doesn't matter. The other thing I have to talk about is something that I was wrong about. And I am shocked that I was wrong about this.
Famous around the world, please welcome the Fantastic Four.
I said that this movie would be good. I fought and I clawed that this movie would be good. I'm still very excited to watch Fantastic Four. I'm gonna watch it. It's gonna be a great movie. Marvel fans know that I will still watch all the Marvel projects. But you're done in this town, bitch. It's over. It's wraps. It's done. You're done. I'm so excited for Fantastic Four. I think it's gonna be really good. But you're over with. And I watched it last night, and I have to say it was the most aggressively middle of the road movie I've ever seen. I was shocked. I was shocked at how, first of all, most of these characters were a complete miss or like against type. Vanessa Kirby, I think her name is, was acting her ass off. Vanessa Kirby was trying so hard to make this role work. And ultimately, everybody else was so flat. Pedro Pascal sucked in this movie. Listen, I love Pedro Pascal. I think he's great. He was flat on as piss on a plate. His Reed Richards was so fucking boring. I could not believe it. Okay, so here, my thoughts were that with quality of everything that went into this movie, they would be able to make a good movie. And I thought that the 50s backdrop was gonna be a setting for disaster to happen. They're using this as like a setup for like, oh, the 50s weren't as utopian as we thought. However, they went in the complete opposite direction. This movie is like a hard love letter to how much better things were in the 50s in this like utopian New York society in which the Fantastic Four are also like, I guess, the governing body of the world. I'm so flabbergasted by this film. And then all of a sudden, something dawned on me. I think Marvel saw the script for Superman. And I think Marvel made Fantastic Four as a direct rebuttal to Superman. They were like, wait, a socially conscious superhero movie? Let's do the exact opposite. Let's remind audiences that we're Disney. You can come be comfortable in the movie theater. We're gonna give you a 1950s white America where everything is utopian and people are gonna love this. And I could not believe that's what they were actually doing. I kept waiting for something to happen. And I was like, oh my God, this is just down the pipe. This is completely down the pipe. Now, the Fantastic Four has been out for a while. Usually I wouldn't give spoilers, but I'm going to give minor spoilers on this because if you haven't seen Fantastic Four in theaters by now, ultimately you probably don't care. With peace and love.
Hi.
I am shocked at everything that happened in this movie. The first thing that happens in this movie is that 90% of it is plot or characters reading plot because they try and pack in so many events in such a short amount of time. They wanted this to be a Fantastic Four origin story, and then also all the way through the Fantastic Four lineage up to Galactus, packed into 2 hours. And it, of any film I have ever seen, it is probably the most obvious of how much shit was cut out. First of all, John Malkovich, one of the greatest actors of this or any generation, was cut out of this movie as one of the major villains, which going into it, I was like, how does that happen? How do you cut out John Malkovich? How do you cast John Malkovich and then cut him out of your movie? And I realized it's because they had filmed way more. This film was originally supposed to be much longer. And something about the powers that be at Disney decided that this was not going to be a long movie. This was going to be a normal length movie. So they cut out so much. Also, the guy that played Mole Man went on Letterboxd and gave this movie like a 2.5 out of 5 and was like, it was a decent film. When an actor in your film turns around and is like, it was okay, like that's crazy. That's a big problem. That basically means that he collected his check and he was so seething with how much he hated this movie that he decided to give it the most middling score as a, hey, I was in this movie and I fucking hate it. I was baffled because everything about this movie could have been cool. I think ultimately this should have been a show. If Fantastic Four was a show, it could have been good. They could have built out all of these scenes that we wanted to see, establishing the Fantastic Four, establishing these characters, building it out, making it cool. Instead, what we got was like a news commercial where it's like, you ever heard of the Fantastic Four? And then it was right into Galactus. And by going right into Galactus, first of all, he's a cosmic threat. So we never get to see any of these characters use their powers. If you went into a Fantastic Four movie expecting to watch the Fantastic Four do like superpower fighting, crime fighting, you do not get that. You get a bunch of pseudoscience Reed Richards being like, of course, we'll just teleport our whole Earth. Of course, we'll just teleport Galactus. Of course, we'll just fly to Galactus. And you're like, what the fuck is happening? And like, the amount of Deus Ex Machina in Reed Richards just picking in his butt twin is crazy. Like every 5 minutes, Reed Richards is like, I just invented cold fusion, eureka. And you're like, what the? And he's not even excited about it. He just kind of is like, oh yeah, picking in your butt, twin. It's crazy. Not to mention, this is real. This is a real plot element. Johnny Storm hears the Silver Surfer speak for 2 seconds while he is in space. And he goes, wait a minute, I know that language. I listened to a tape of dead languages on vinyl in my free time. This is all real. This is verbatim. And they go, Johnny, what do you mean you listen to dead languages on vinyl? And he goes, I do. And then from hearing those 5 words, he figures out that what she says is die with your own. He is able in a month to translate an entire dead language from a vinyl, create an appeal to the Silver Surfer in her native language, unlock the secrets of the universe, and convince her to not side with Galactus. This is all verbatim what happens in the movie. And Johnny Storm is supposed to be the brash one. He's like I'm the crazy, flirty, and he's just able to do more with the 5 words the Silver Surfer did than all of our fucking academics in the world combined can do with Latin? What are we talking about? What are we talking about? I was like, what? Huh? That's a plot element? I was sitting there with Caroline watching her tune out and fall asleep, and I was like, how is this possible? I was shocked at how down the pipe this was. Now, granted, let me say something. It's not a bad movie. It's not a movie that I watch and go, what a disastrous piece of shit. It is, however, one of the most frighteningly down the pipe mid movies ever. It is chicken with no spice. And here is the summation of this. I thought Fantastic Four would be a return to form for Marvel. I really did. I said it on this stream. I said there's no way Fantastic Four will be bad. They know what's at stake. They have the best minds working on this. It's got a massive budget. They have an unbelievable amount of talent on the cast. It's going to be good. I think this is the first time that I will say this. If that was the best Marvel can do, it's over. Doomsday is not going to be good. It's over. Until something changes, I think I am at the point where Marvel movies...
These kinds of vast logic flaws always exist in large numbers in comic book movies, and it's why I can't get into most of them. I can't turn off the part of my brain that
It's beyond that.
all the incongruities.
It's beyond that.
Wow, that's for a cool.
Did you like Thunderbolts more than this? Because I'm going to be honest. At least Sentry is a good villain. Galactus is a good villain unless you don't tell us anything about him. How do you do a Galactus story and don't fill in any of the blanks? They didn't fill in any of them. They're just like, oh, he's this guy in space. They gave us more details on who the Silver Surfer was than Galactus. They just were like, hey, he's a big robot. He's going to eat the planet. Don't worry about his motivation. It doesn't matter. What would you have done to make it better? So much. So much. Listen, if at the end of that movie, you kill Sue Storm and you kill Johnny Storm, right? You kill both of them. And all that's left is Reed Richards and Ben Grimm. And Reed Richards becomes the Maker. And Ben Grimm comes over to our universe and is like, hey, just so you know, Reed Richards from our universe has snapped. He lost his fucking mind. And then that explains why we get the fucking alt version of Victor Von Doom, because Victor Von Doom is also trying to stop the Maker. But no, they didn't want to do anything fun. It's just down the pipe. Fantastic Four win. Dude, the other thing, by the way, let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. Galactus is like, give me the baby. Give me the baby. Give me the baby, right? And Sue Storm goes up there and she's like, I won't give you the baby. And all of America is just like, she's right. Protect the baby. We're all gonna die. No, shut the fuck up. What kind of utopian? No. I expected that crowd to be like, fuck your baby. Fuck that baby. Give him the baby. I don't want to die. But no. Disney was like, we all live in a happy 50s world with no black people and no fucking problems. It was like, what is happening? What is happening? I'm shocked. Oh, okay, so listen, I will take down the character for a second. Again, I don't think this is a bad movie. I don't. I wouldn't give this movie like a 5 out of 10. I would probably give it like a 6.5, 7. But this was Marvel's big shot to earn back its audiences. This was Marvel's big opportunity to be like, listen, our original IP is going to be fun. We're going to bring you back. And they failed. They failed. They failed at that. If this is the best that Marvel can do, it's over. I now view Marvel like I view Star Wars, where we're just living in a dead universe where they're just going to make crap. And I was not ready for that. I was not ready for that. I was not ready for that. I was shocked.